Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me and my guest who's joining me on Mystics, Oracles, and Divination radio show. I'm your host, Kooch Daniels. I'm a lifelong professional intuitive, tarot reader, and palm reader. Actually, I sometimes say I'm a tarot addict because I don't seem to be able to stop pulling cards. Interestingly, I thought I'd pull a tarot card for our show, and the card that I selected intuitively is the World. It bodes well for finding fulfillment of desires and completion of projects and kind of being able to go out into the world and be more social. There's so much chaos in the world at the present time. Before I ever go out in the world, I try to do a chant, because just saying, well, what do mystics do? They spend a lot of time chanting and meditating. So a chant for protecting yourself in the world and for asking protection for the world. I'm just going to say it right now because I want to put that energy into my show. It's Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May everyone in the world find peace and be safe and protected. So once again, hi everybody. This is Kooch, and today I've just thought it'd be really fun to talk with Pieter Daniels, my partner in crime, because we've written 4 or 5 books together. I can't even remember how many, and he's the co-creator of our newest release, which is Sacred Mysteries, the Chakra Oracle deck. And today we're going to be talking with Pieter, and I'm going to be picking his brain about chakras and trying to find out more why it's important or why it's valuable to understand chakras and maybe connect with your inner chakras and take more of an interest in what that philosophy is all about. So right now I'm going to bring Pieter on. Hey, Pieter, are you connecting with me?
Here I am.
Yay. So how did you first find out about chakras? What is your background in chakras, Pieter?
Well, I think probably the starting point would have been pre-chakras, and as I began to get into humanistic psychology, humanistic and existential psychology, one of the central figures in that field was Abraham Maslow and his hierarchy of needs, in which he talked about survival needs, which are the basic things that we need in order to survive, physiological needs, etc., and then ultimately moving up to being needs, which have to do with self-realization and in his words, the further reaches of human nature, the higher kinds of impulses. So some time with that, some years with that, and then I don't really recall exactly where or when I first ran into chakras, but in encountering Harish Johari, who was your teacher and my teacher and Pieter Weltevrede's teacher. Pieter, as some of you listeners might know, is a world-class Dutch artist who paints in the Indian classical tradition. And we were all students of Harish's for about 20 years, up until about 1999, when he dropped his body. And Harish was the central figure in the second half of the 20th century in terms of bringing knowledge about the chakras to the West. So it was a wonderful privilege to have the opportunity to work with him and talk with him. It became apparent to me that the chakras and Maslow's hierarchy of needs were closely connected, and I suspect that Maslow had run across the chakras. He had a very wide-ranging intellect, and he had probably run across them, and that influenced him in putting together his conceptions. I think it's also clearly the case that there are a great many dimensions of the chakras that went beyond anything that Maslow had thought about or done.
Can I interrupt you?
Sure,
you're talking a lot about psychology, and this is one of our ongoing debates. Is it psychology or spirituality when we're looking at chakras? Because I would like you to talk about what chakras are in relation to the tantric tradition instead of making comparisons with a psychological tradition that's much more recent than the chakras, which go back many hundreds of years.
Well, there's a dualism in the framing of the discussion as psychology or spirituality. And for me, it's not a distinction that holds up. I think that there are psychological dimensions in spirituality, and there are spiritual dimensions in psychology, and they're on a kind of continuum. And so, yes, we certainly, I certainly want to look at whatever is important for a person that may be psychological, may be spiritual, maybe some combination of both for them.
Would you describe the chakras or give people a little definition? Some of our audience might not be so familiar with them, and just some people might want to refresh your course a little bit. So can you tell us what the chakras are?
Sure. Well, there are 7 central chakras, and then there are a couple of very esoteric variations on the 7th chakra that we won't go into. But the first, the notion of the chakras is that they are descriptive of energy, of a kind of psycho-spiritual energy that is conceptualized in Indian tradition and the tantric tradition as a snake sleeping, a coiled serpent sleeping at the base of the spine. And
that's the Kundalini.
Yeah, the Kundalini, and then that Kundalini can be activated and move upward through the chakras. And even though you probably don't want me to do so, I'll mention that, in a sense, the energy, the energy that's described in the tradition of the chakras is actually very similar to what Sigmund Freud talked about in terms of libido, which a kind of psychosexual energy, which can be developed in various ways. But to go back to your question, the first chakra has to do with security and insecurity, fear and courage, like tension and relaxation at its very basic. Do I feel relaxed in the world? Do I feel grounded? Do I feel able to to cope with what comes, or am I always a little anxious and on edge and insecure and perhaps not taking full responsibility for myself? Whereas and it's this again. I want to avoid the dualisms. When I speak of the endpoints of secure or insecure, they're really endpoints of a continuum that ranges from one to another. And there are a variety of subdimensions that Kooch and Pieter and I have analyzed, and for each one of the chakras that goes along that continuum. So that's chakra 1, security and insecurity.
And where is that located?
That's located the anus, the base.
I love Victor. He just gets right to and it's actually like right next to it. It's not really that. I don't know.
Well, who knows? It's also said that it has been pointed out that the last words a pilot says that are recorded on a black box when a plane goes down is usually, "Oh, shit."
Well, that doesn't mean that that's the first chakra where the location is. It's at the bottom of the spine. It's the root chakra.
Can argue. But let's go
I
on
think
to the
it's
second
great.
chakra.
This is how people who write together, when they start dialoguing, it becomes obvious that words, we want to hit each other over the head with hammers once in a while. But I would say maybe just the base of the spine is a better definition, Victor. But okay, so we're going to the second chakra.
Yes, the base of the spine. The first chakra is the base of the spine. And we will go to the second chakra. Oh, that's politically incorrect to use accents anymore, isn't it?
God,
okay.
I'm just going to have to be like reprimanding you all night.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm bad. But you knew that already.
That's why I like you.
So there we are into the second chakra, relationships. And the relationships, and of course, in the tantric tradition, everybody in the West thinks about what is in people who are really into tantra speak about left-handed chakra, left-handed tantra, and right-handed tantra. And left-handed tantra has to do with divine sexuality and the tantra yoga, tantric sex, which involves very often the partners matching their breathing to each other, being very attentive to what's going on with the partner as well as what's going on with yourself, rather than being into doing your own thing and getting your own pleasure and basically the partner being just an object for you. So there are very specific kinds of sexual postures even that go with second chakra, such as Maituna, in which one partner sits, in which both partners sit up. And one has their legs circled around the other and can remain in that position for a long period of time. So that's left-handed chakra.
But you're leaving out one of the main ingredients for tantric sexuality, which is uniting with God through having an intimate connection, because God is the root of having that kind of an experience. It's to reach God realization.
Well, if you're working with it from an Indian tradition, yes. If you're working with it from a Western perspective, that typically gets left out, and so it's very important, as you mentioned, to bring it in. Other aspects of the second chakra include creativity. And also flash and dash and celebrity status and being well known and all of the stuff that you get on Entertainment Tonight and all of those kinds of things, the Hollywood glitz and glamour.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
Shamanic healing is the key to personal empowerment. Why? All four levels of our being, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, must be addressed for us to enjoy balanced, healthy, abundant lives. Yet there are few provisions for spiritual or energetic healing. Shamanism, found at the root of all cultures, is a very effective spiritual healing modality. To find quality shamanic healing you can trust, regardless of where you live, look no further than Find Your Path Home Long-Distance Shamanic Healing Program. All Path Home long-distance healing practitioners have been trained and certified through Path Home Shamanic Art School. Change your life. Live abundantly. Schedule a long-distance shamanic healing session with Gwilda Wiyaka or one of her quality practitioners today at findyourpathhome.com.
Hi, everybody. We're back, and you're listening to Kooch on the amazingly fun and wonderful Mystics, Oracles, and Divination radio show. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. And we're talking with Victor Daniels, who's co-author of Sacred Mysteries, the Chakra Oracle, and Awakening the Chakras, the 7 energy centers in your daily life. And we're trying to find out more about chakras. We've kind of just touched base a little bit, talking about what the first and second chakra is. So, Victor, we're back to looking at the third chakra. And what is the third chakra, please?
Well, I'd like to switch gears just a little in the way that we're doing this. I was aware during our break that I had been pretty much monologuing about the first two chakras, and I'd rather we move into a dialogue in which there's more discussion back and forth between us rather than just... Yes?
I agree totally, and we'll certainly do that as best as we know how. So, but the question still is, do you want to talk about the third chakra, since you're talking about telling us what the chakras are?
Third chakra, basically, I'll say less, and then you can come in. With the third chakra basically having to do with power and various manifestations. One aspect of power is like a person having the ability to accomplish, to do, to move forward in life. The other versus the other end of the continuum being having a hard time getting energy mobilized like that. Another aspect can be that power can be like domination, attempting to be top dog, to step on others, to be number one. And the other side of that can be what I call and I call that the alpha complex. A person needs to be alpha. And at the other end, there's a doormat complex. A person feels like they need to give away to let other people be number one, etc. So that's the essence of the fourth chakra, of the third chakra, has to do with power. Do you have comments?
Well, my question to you is, what about if we're looking at the chakras in relation to a spiritual quest? What would the third chakra, how can we work with our third chakra, or what issues might be there for us? And where is the location of the third chakra?
It's important to realize that various dimensions are centered in one chakra, but not exclusive to them. So the movement from the third to the fourth chakra involves allowing and helping other people to experience their power and their strength. And so that would be a part of spirituality, is beginning to let go of the ego, that it's all about me and I have to have what I want. And so
But don't we have to have self-esteem and really look at what we want instead of ignore what we want to be able to be centered?
Absolutely. But that's different from it being all about ego, from me being, I want to get what I want, to the exclusion of you getting what you want. As you well know, Harish Johari, who was our teacher in regard to chakras, said to us one time, 95% of the people in the world live out their whole lives in the first three chakras, and they very seldom ever make it over into fourth chakra impulses. And the fourth chakra has to do with service and being
wait. We haven't let people, Victor, you want me to interrupt you and have a dialogue, so we haven't really told people where the second and the third chakras are. So when we're looking at the spine, you're going up the spine, and you want to give more specifics about that?
Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Well, the third chakra that we were just talking about is by the solar plexus, and the second is the sacral area. So we're kind of like moving up our spine, and it's interesting to me that there's a space between the chakras. And my serious question, and I'm really questioning this, it's not just trying to pick your brain for the audience sake, it's for my sake, which is what's going on in the space between the third chakra and the fourth chakra, because that is a huge jump in relation to going from more personal needs to start looking more at the world and moving towards compassion or heart energy in the fourth chakra. But what's going on in the space between the third and the fourth chakra before we start talking about
there are different ways of conceptualizing the whole thing, and that relates to that question. One way of conceptualizing the chakra system is that the chakras are things, entities in a sense, and that there is something, there is, quote, a space, unquote, between any two chakras. And another way of conceptualizing it is to say that that chakras are energy forms, that the chakra system is in a sense a conceptual way of representing things that exist in a non-distinct, non-dualistic way within the self, so that there are elements of all of the chakras in every chakra, and what's going on in your words in the spaces between them is, in a sense, it's take for example the whole notion of autonomy and self-determination. That begins to manifest in the first chakra as a person, like the first chakra, a person who feels secure within themselves, has some sense of autonomy, has some sense of self-determination, takes responsibility, whereas a person who doesn't is likely to blame other people and shuffle off the responsibility on them. You get into the second chakra, and there again, we have, am I dependent on others for my sense of myself and my validation, or am I taking responsibility for my own self? I'm moving toward knowing who I am in relationship with you? Do I have clear boundaries? The whole set of boundary issues of where do I leave off and where do you begin is important second chakra, and important in that same dimension. You get into third chakra, and again, we take that whole autonomy and self-determination issue, and do I give up my willingness to my own willingness to be myself and to be strong and to go after what I want, or do I actively assert that, and do I actively assert it to a given point, and then help you in developing it as well, so that we begin moving into fourth chakra. So I don't actually conceive of a space between. I conceive of energies that are present to a much greater degree and a lesser degree, and I think that's what the whole notion of the conception of balancing the chakras is about, of finding ways, balancing the energies within a chakra, and also balancing the ways in which they manifest between the different chakras. That make sense to you?
It sounds really. I'm a Libra, so the word balance is key in everything I do almost. So I have to think about it, a while. But yes, it makes sense. Initially,
to me, it's like unusual to think about spaces between. But I haven't, and so maybe if I do so. I will have better answers to your questions, and something will begin to. What do you have conceptions about that? Do you have thoughts about that?
That's why I was asking. It's because I'm trying to it's like what's going on with when you're not in a chakra, but if the energy is truly transcending up the spine, what's happening with the energy when they're kind of when it's going between two chakras as far as. Is there like an electrical current?
Is kind of a master. I'm sorry. It said that the fourth chakra is kind of a master controller that regulates the energies of all of the other chakras.
That's the sixth chakra. That's the master controller. That's what I've heard.
Okay. Well, we've read different authors, I guess, or heard different gurus. Anyway, whoever or wherever the master is, the notion is that for different situations. Different degrees of energy and ways of using those energies of the various chakras are in focus. And one will be dominant and others will be secondary, and then that will change in other kinds of conceptions and situations, and it will also change from one person to another. Most people tend to have a chakra that they most dominantly operate from, and so the notion of like moving up into greater spirituality and transcendence involves also always developing the energies of the other chakras as well as your dominant one.
Okay, so if we're looking at moving from the third to the fourth chakra, do you have any techniques or methods that you use to help people go from one chakra to pull the energy up?
Well, at third and fourth, there's a whole lot of them, and on one that kind of bridges the fourth and fifth is that, like I used to be very heavily into wanting to be right about things, and I have found that that some of the languages that we use can be important. One of my favorite phrases anymore is, "Of course, I may be mistaken." And that has the nice feature that it's disarming to people, and it also opens the possibility for them to conceive of, okay, what do I think about this? How am I doing here? Rather than me feeling rather than them feeling that they have to accept my dominance and things. One of the things, as you know, you and I have conceptualized in Awakening the Chakras, the book Awakening the Chakras. For every chakra, we have a section on the bright side, the gifts and strengths of the chakra, and we also have a section on the dark side, the issues and challenges.
Victor, we're going to come back in just a couple minutes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Hi, everybody. We're back, and we're talking about the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. And I'd like to start this segment of our talk with a quote from our teacher, Harish Johari, who said this about the fourth chakra. The love and compassion of fourth chakra persons make them a source of inspiration to others who can find peace and calm in their presence. Fourth chakra persons help everyone feel secure in their presence. So once again, we're talking with Victor Daniels, and he has been a teacher at Sonoma State University, a professor for 40 years. And he is now going to talk a little bit more about the fourth chakra before we go to the fifth. So Victor, what insights can you give us about the fourth chakra?
Well, I'll add something to that quote from Harish, and that's in our section on the bright side of the fourth chakra. The gifts and strengths that we have stated are loving others and even other living beings, knowing that such love fills up one's own heart and enriches life, regardless of how it is received or what is returned. The ability
so
to
it's
keep
selfless or
up.
Unconditional. That means it's selfless and unconditional.
Mm-hmm. And we have, for every one of the chakras, we have a table of possibilities. And that table, we have the opportunities and the obstacles for each chakra. Again, not conceptualized as a dualism, but as a continuum. And I'll just read the opportunities side of the table for fourth chakra, which ties into your question about how do you move upward through the chakras. So the opportunities with the fourth chakra are overflowing love, selfless love, empathic and compassionate, kind and altruistic, nurturing to others and self, conscious awareness in the present, attentive to spirit, open-hearted, gives and receives easily, emotionally forgiving, and looks on the sunny side. And then the obstacles, in a sense, are the opposite of those. So by paying attention to anyone, you, I, and you, the listener, you can ask yourself, okay, how do I find that the opportunities, that the obstacles characterize myself, and where I see that I'm, anxious for love, careless of the needs of others, mental fog. If you see one of those kinds of things, then you can and find it in some of what you do. You can look across to the other side, to the opportunities, and then we offer a whole spectrum of specific exercises. It includes meditations, mantras, and things in the mental realm, the physical realm, the emotional realm. Actually, our other book, The Sacred Mysteries of Chakra Oracles, is more explicit in terms of for each chakra dealing with the mental realm and the physical and the emotional realms and the active or behavioral realms, and what can you do with each one of those things. And we actually have that broken down by, we've got 7 cards in each chakra. And so the 4th chakra cards are acceptance and balance, service, love. And I'll say that, well, no, I won't. She might be embarrassed if I said it. Well, I'll say it anyway.
No, if I'm going to be embarrassed, please don't say it. I don't want to be embarrassed. Please. It could be an embarrassment that lasts forever.
I have a good friend who every week goes around to Costco and other places and picks up food that they don't need and takes it to a variety of homeless shelters in the area. And so that's service. That's a 4th chakra kind of thing. And then we've also got the sort of the negative side, illusion and ignorance, and so coping with those, and then we provide specific exercises for coping with those, and that I think is more than the generalities, is looking at what specific dimensions. A lot of people in looking at all of the chakras, they think, oh, okay, power, 3rd chakra, but without getting down to what specific aspects of power are important to them. And likewise with the 4th, what specific dimensions of that. So we think in terms of ascending energies that help us move upward, and then also and move toward a more spiritual sense of things. And then there's also descending energies. How do we get caught in other kinds of energies that tend to bring us down and that get in the way of the ascending spiritual energies?
Okay, well, as far as ascending
in the 4th chakra is letting go of our personal needs enough to hear the needs of others. And one of the things that Kooch and I both do that I think has contributed to our being married for 42 years is that both of us often will go to a place of saying, okay, I'm going to put the other person's needs ahead of mine and help them get what they want. And then,
well, I have a need right now, Victor. Victor, I have a need to go to the 5th chakra and talk about the power of communication.
Shoot.
No, I want to hear your comments. It's what is the healing power that? What are the healing?
Right,
I'd like to know about the healing power of the 5th chakra, as well as what is the 5th chakra. But communication, there's got to be a healing that comes through the 5th chakra. Our ability to heal one another or through our communications, and even having a radio show. It's like it's not for just to talk. There's got to be something of value. So we're giving a 5th chakra experience to people.
The often 5th chakra is said to center around truth. Am I speaking truth, or am I lying to myself or to other people in some way or another? Also, the very obvious kind of thing: does a person speak clearly and accurately, or expressing themselves poorly and blocked and have a hard time doing it? Does what I say help you feel better, or does it contribute to you feeling worse? Very important, huh? Communication in depth that brings in the depths of who I am and responds to the depths of who you are, or does it stay at a surface level? And then there's the opposite. There's the concept. If all I have to say is to talk about trivia, then silence may be better. Silence is an essential part of meditation. Every truly spiritual teacher knows when to become silent. So those are all elements of the 5th chakra. We have a little quick.
We need
Go
to
ahead, sure.
wait. I'm going to interrupt you again because for people who don't know, the 5th chakra the center is right in the middle of the throat, but it goes down towards the heart chakra or the 4th chakra, and it goes up higher probably because it also includes hearing. So it kind of the 5th chakra. It's not just centered in the throat. It has a dimension that is much larger than just one little circle of energy.
Yeah, and we have one sentence, in a sense, sums it up. speaks clearly with wisdom in ways that engage others, balanced between the mind and the heart. And I think that sums up what the fifth chakra is about. Do you have more to say, Kooch?
Well, I think the fifth chakra balances our elements in our body. All of the earth, air, fire, and water, they're balanced in the throat chakra because we start moving up more into a spirit energy when we start going up to our higher centers or start going up the spine. And the best way that you can raise your potential is to help others through your own communication. So when you talk about service, which we talked about in the fourth chakra, when you start benefiting others through communication, that helps pull your energy higher. That's one of the benefits of when you're talking about how do I move higher into higher centers or awaken higher centers.
Right. So the questions become, how do I use my speaking in ways that are beneficial for me and others? And one of the keys there is to be very attentive to any time I say something that I'm not sure that what I'm saying is completely. And the other is to pay attention to when am I gossiping? Am I going into a chatterbox kind of like a silence, and perhaps simply attending to you would be more appropriate than keeping my own vocal cords flapping.
Or maybe the balance comes in again.
Mm-hmm. So then there's sixth chakra, which is a step beyond the fifth, and there we get into intuition. And Kooch is really more of a master of the intuitive faculty than I am, so I'm going to turn that one over and suggest that you do the principal statement about sixth chakra.
Well, if I was talking about the sixth chakra, I would never bring in the word master, because to get into a higher center, you've got to really not attach yourself to being like a master. I mean, once you're really a master, I don't think you have to. I would never say that about myself. I think the way to open a higher center or the sixth chakra is you've got to be more detached from ego, or try to start looking at how to be more humble, to focus on other people's needs instead of your own.
Mm-hmm. The ultimate ego challenge.
Well, talking about ego challenge, so what is the ego challenge for the sixth chakra then?
Well, one of the big ego challenges, which we have seen in one guru after another, is imagining themselves to be more enlightened than they really are, and then getting locked in that conception of themselves and selling that self-conception to their gurus, rather than the kind of humility that goes with the genuine spiritual adepts.
Well, that's a whole nother discussion that could take hours and get a lot of people riled up, because when someone's totally attached to their guru, they believe in their guru, and if someone else, there's always people that don't believe in other people's gurus and want to put them down or say something like, you're part of a cult or other things.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie, natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by L.A. Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, The 70-Year Cover-Up Exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Memorable dynamic presentations are a not-so-secret weapon in the business world. Do you have a powerful message that must be shared, but you haven't found a way to deliver that message? Do you want to be known as a top public speaker who gets amazing results? Are you ready to create and deliver your powerful message? Thomas Hides can help you create and deliver your speech to get the results you desire. Visit iconquality.com.
Did you expect your business to flourish, but instead it plateaued or didn't get off the ground yet? Would you like to achieve massive goals and discover new sources of income within your business? When you're ready to experience that type of success with fast results, Cindy Hendricks is the business coach for you. Her work with entrepreneurs and business owners has been life-changing. To get you and your business where you want to be, go to imaginemoresuccess.com.
Has the fear of public speaking stalled your business or personal life? What would you give to develop and maintain supreme confidence? Have an invaluable private program to always perform at your best. Imagine how you would feel. You can have all that and so much more today with Thomas Hides' life-changing course called Number One Fear Unleashed. Visit numberonefear.com and be liberated from your fear of public speaking.
Hi, everybody. We're back, and you're listening to Mystics, Oracles, and Divination Radio Show. I'm your host, Kooch Daniels, and we're looking at the system, the tantric system of chakras, and just trying to get a little more insight into what they're about. And I'm talking with my guest, Victor Daniels, who... Victor, before we start talking about the 6th and 7th chakra, do you want to tell people your website so if they have, before the end of the show, let's give you a little commercial plug right here. How about letting people know about your websites or maybe the websites for the chakra book and the oracle that you've written? And then
let's focus on the websites for the chakra, the chakras and the oracle book. And there's actually 3 websites that I think will be especially useful to people. One of them is called chakracards.net, and that's the Sacred Mysteries Oracle Deck site at CHAKRA, Chakra Cards, CARDS, all lowercase, all one word, .net. And we've tried to make all 3 of these sites really beautiful. I think you'll enjoy them. The second one is awakeningthechakras.com, and all one word, all lowercase, awakeningthechakras.com. illustrator.com, and that is a book all about about that book. And then the third one, for those of you who are heavily into the Tarot, we've done a really beautiful integration of. We've developed a number of new techniques and methods that are included in our most recent Tarot book, which is tarot@acrossroads.com. You run all of those words together in all lowercase, all one letter, tarot@acrossroads.com. We also have an earlier Tarot book called Tarot d'Amour, Find Love, Sex, and Romance in the Cards, but we don't have a website for that one. We have some links to the book itself and those others. So then I'd like to go on and from there and mention the gifts and strengths of the sixth chakra, in particular.
Well, let's tell people where the sixth chakra is located. It's also the third eye. It's called the third eye. That's
right,
where people talk about their third eye. So it's in the middle of your forehead.
Oh, and I'll bring in one psychological item. It's a point where psychology and spirituality are closely linked. One of the obstacles, one of the pitfalls in the sixth chakra is that people can become sure that they know what's really going on with another person, attached to their own psychic omnipotence or their conceptions of psychic omnipotence. And a problem that often crops up is that people get their own projections and their own imaginings and guesses about other people mixed up with what's really going on with the other person. And so checking that out becomes essential to developing your own sixth chakra intuitive power. So if I think I know something that's going on with you, I will ask you, I'm guessing that what you're feeling now is, or whatever words and language I want to use, is that right? Check it out with them. And if they say no, well, I may as well take that as my reality, or at least the reality that I communicate with them about, and keep my own counsel about the other thing. And if they say yes, then well, that helps me distinguish. Okay, I gradually learn what are the kinds of situations where I am projecting, and what are the kinds of situations where my intuition is accurate and helps me along that spiritual path. Kooch, your turn.
Well, I would like to just disagree a little bit, because for people who are opening their third eye, there has to be some. Victor and I often disagree, so it's nothing new here. But
what do you mean we disagree?
Exactly. Nothing, dear. But if you're opening your third eye, you have to affirm that you can be intuitive, that you can trust your intuition, that you don't have to second guess or ask other people permission to use it, and or if it's right or not right. But you don't have to hit other people over the head with what you're intuiting, or if people give you a weird look, maybe you need to rethink what you're intuiting. If you say something to them and they glare at you and want to send daggers, maybe you're not using your intuition in a way that's going to be received with grace. So everything has a learning curve, including how to open your third eye or how to use your intuition. So I would disagree. I agree with Victor that it's good to double check what we're thinking with people. If I'm doing a reading for someone, I often want to make sure that I'm taking them in a place that is comfortable and I'm not stepping on their toes or I'm not saying something that is totally wrong. So I do get people to give me affirmative thumbs up or make sure that, help guide me to make sure that I'm going in a direction that's comfortable. But on another level, if I feel something so strongly, for instance, I'm feeling someone's pain in their back and I feel that they're having some kind of health issues, if I'm feeling it and it's in my body and I'm linked with the person I'm doing a reading for, that's so real to me. I don't have to ask permission. I'll say, I'm feeling something going on in your lower back or something.
Well, and then what you do, I've heard you do a lot of readings in places where we've been doing gigs together, tarot reading gigs together, and then you take that intuition and you start talking about it with them. You may not explicitly ask, "Is that right?" But you just act as if it's right, and you get a positive response. So I would say that a person can, use either the approach that you describe or the approach that I describe in terms of what suits them, but just remain open to whatever kind of evidence comes in, and gradually that faculty is likely to develop.
Well, my intuition is telling me we should go from the 6th chakra up to the crown or the 7th chakra before we run out of time, because the 7th chakra is one of our highest, it is the highest center that people talk about when they're talking about the 7 chakras. What insights do you want to share with us about the 7th chakra, Victor?
Well, I think one of the crucial insights is that it's a place where words cannot fully describe what's occurring. There's the analogy of there being a wall, and we're standing on one side of it, and people who have been to the other side come back smiling, and we say, "What can you tell me about the place?" And they say, "Well, there's, you got to go there really to fully understand it." Metaphorically, it's a place where there is a great, wonderful, illuminating light and rainbow and shining brightness that fills up our lives. And there's the issue and challenge is to think that you're more enlightened than you actually are. That's a continuation of the 6th chakra problem. But really, and also it's worth mentioning that many people have little flashes of what might be considered to be 7th chakra consciousness, but those flashes continuing for a longer period of time really is a kind of a movement into that. And then finally, the last thing that I'd remark about is that one disagreement is some people from some traditions talk about just going, the wonderful thing is just to go and hang out there in that 7th chakra, and other teachers say, well, there's the bodhisattva path as the Buddhists conceived of it, which is being in that chakra, having that awareness, and then coming back and doing what you can to lead other people to it as well.
Well, that's a beautiful thought, because our teacher, Harish Johari, said he couldn't really talk about it because you can't use words to describe what is beyond words. So it's really a place that you have to go to understand. But it sounds like a wonderful, wonderful place to go. And I think sometimes people, when they have psychedelic experience or out-of-body experiences, they talk about connecting with that highest center. Another thing that Harish said that is kind of really sweet, it's that we can't really open the crown chakra through our own efforts. It has to come through God opening that gateway, because the only way you're going to get there is if God gives you the thumbs up. So it's definitely a spiritual center, just as the whole chakra system is an inner self-discovery pathway. It's not something that you do out in the world. It's really something that you work on inwardly through meditation and looking at how you can grow and become more understanding of how you're using the energy within you. And Victor, it's been great talking with you about all of these centers. And do you have any parting insights before we're going to be closing our show?
My parting insights is that that I encourage people to go to those 3 websites, chakracards.net, awakeningthechakras.com, and tarot@acrossroads.com, because they're both, chakracards.net is very pretty, doesn't have as much information. The other 2 have a lot of information, and they have lots of arrows and can be helpful to people far more than I can in the last 1 minute of this conversation.
Well, Pieter Weltevrede is the illustrator of a lot of the art that you will see in the in our cards. He did the cards, but it's also on our website, and you can't. It's just mind-blowing what he does. Thank you, everyone. It's time to go. I just want to give you all a big, heartfelt hug for hanging in and being part of our show.